Your video's going back.
It's a vibe, y'all. It's a vibe, y'all. Real couples, real talk all the time, y'all. It's a vibe, y'all. It's a vibe, y'all. Real couples, real talk all the time, y'all. Couples conversation. Couples conversation.
I really wish we had something to drink now.
All right, listen, we are here. It's so good to see y'all. Thank y'all so much for being with us. It's your girl Tanya Melvin Shadley and the one and only Mr. Melvin Flint.
Hey, how y'all doing out there?
Okay, so listen, first we must say before we invite our special guests and introduce them to the stream with us, we have to apologize. We were supposed to do an anniversary special 2 weeks ago in celebration of our 17th wedding anniversary. And your girl was so busy. I took a little nap that day. And I woke up at 8:40 p.m. and my husband was like, babe, come on, you gotta get up. And I was like, babe, we missed the whole show. Like we're supposed to be on at 8 o'clock. So needless to say, everybody was like, oh, I know why y'all didn't make the show. I was like, no, your girl was asleep. So again, we apologize to our viewers for
her sleep.
Maybe I was just out. I was tired. But we're so excited to be back again with you all on tonight for a special edition, a special conversation. We want to welcome on Tiffany and Frank Harrell. So we want to welcome to the stream. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll also give you a chance again to introduce yourself, but I would love to say how I was able to meet this lovely couple, especially Tiffany, within the arts world. I'm a proud Black brand member. I shout Black brand everywhere I go. Hello. And as well as a Black brand ambassador. And we had an opportunity to be at a few events together, presenting one at the school. Tiffany, what school was that? It was one of the high schools.
I don't remember. It was.
I'm not even gonna quote it on it, right? I'm not even gonna quote it, but it was one of the high schools locally, and it was a really awesome opportunity. We were able to work together as well as Mr. Richard Press. Shout out to him, his fantastic artwork. So I just was like, first of all, she is super dope. I love her energy. I love her artwork. It's amazing. And I was like, listen, anyway, I get you somewhere to feature your stuff, feature your work is a done deal. So and then she did the AI piece, right? The AI presentation, and I was like, I was on that as well, like in there taking notes, like a faithful student, right? But again, I'm so happy to have you all here with us on tonight. So introduce yourselves, and again, let us know about yourselves, how long you've been together, and all that good stuff. Let's just get into it. We're gonna have a good time. No pressure or nothing. Share as much as you like or little, right? But it's a safe space.
Man, I wish I had something to drink.
I know.
Man, so I'm Tiffany. This is Frank. We will be officially when we tell them the date.
September 17th.
September 17th.
Will be 4 years.
Will be 4 years. I don't know. See, I don't. So we've been together for 4 years. And let's see a little bit about us together. We have 3 mastiffs that we tell everybody if we get on a video and you hear stuff in the background, those are just the furry humans that are having conversations. We have an 8-year-old, 16-year-old, and we're both entrepreneurs. Miss Shadley, you already introduced what I do. Frank's in the marine industry. Let's see. I don't know. What else? Is that it?
Look, no, that's about it, I guess.
Okay. I tell everybody he used to be a race car driver. So now his brother is a race car driver, and I will say I am the first Black female pit crew member. Over there. And I'm aspiring to be the first Black female driver over at Langley Speedway in Hampton.
Okay.
All right.
So, okay. Well, I'm just gonna say congratulations in advance. Hello.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. You want to say anything?
No, I'm gonna just ride this coattail.
Okay. I like Frank already.
Lord. Yeah, he's a man of few words sometimes.
I love it. So listen.
Yeah, so just you might as well just ask questions now.
Okay. So
Oh,
again,
your
we're going to
video
get
froze.
together.
Oh, there you go. Your video froze before.
Oh, it froze up a little bit. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Hold on one second. You know what? I'm having.
It froze up again.
Yep.
Are you still there?
There we go.
There you go.
Okay,
All
I
right.
think I fixed it. The Wi-Fi
Okay.
was. I just took the Wi-Fi totally out the picture. So we froze for a
Okay.
minute. Now we're back.
Okay. Yep, you're
Okay.
good. All right. So what's your question?
So I was saying, just kind of go back to the beginning a little bit. How the two of you all met, and kind of that intro story.
How did we meet?
Tender.
Okay. You go ahead and tell the story.
Go ahead, Frank. She tagging you in.
Yeah, I see that. No, we met on the dating site Tinder, and we chatted back and forth, and then we finally had a video chat, and from there I was like, I liked her personality, so I said,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna see how this goes, and all of a sudden now, 4 years later, here we are.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So of course our topic
And
tonight
crazy
was.
thing was, I told her up front I wasn't looking for no relationship, nothing long term. I was, and I didn't know what I wanted until I found it.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I like that, Frank. I like what you said. I didn't know. That sounds like you. That's a okay. I didn't know until you
Don't
found
ever
it.
say never. Don't say I don't. When pandemic hit, she started making face masks. I said I'm not running no sewing machine. Next thing you know, I'm sewing masks. I'm cutting material. So I've done to the point with her. I don't say never no more because I'm gonna be in deep.
I love it. 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 You got one, babe?
I'm just enjoying it right now.
I love it. So again, what could be something? Well, you know what? Share one moment within these 4 years that you all have been together that you would say, you know what, that was a pivotal moment in our relationship because our subject matter was talking about, having a difference in age. Share that a little bit on that as well, and then share a pivotal moment that you think you all may have experienced in your relationship up until this point that was a factor in how y'all handled it, good or bad.
Um, where the age difference came into play.
Possibly,
Um,
yeah.
I don't think really it has
Or
ever.
does it? Okay.
No, for us it wasn't. For most people around or out in public, not only we are an age gap, 20 years difference, but we're also interracial. So there's two elements.
Right.
And you would get to notice, you paid more attention in the beginning of people looking at you, and you would catch yourself staring back at them like, what the F are you looking at? And,
Period.
so it just got to the point where she knew if somebody was looking, because I'd reach over and slap her ass or give her a kiss, one of the two was going to happen.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
said, if you're wondering whether she's my nurse or we're together, here, I'm going to show it to you.
Period. I love it. That's it.
That's it,
That's it right there.
Yeah. And it probably only came to a real close call or realization. We were at a friend of mine's restaurant
Oh yeah.
having dinner. Go there all the time because of the music. And literally, I'm sitting in the booth next to her, turning around looking at the music. She's got her arm on my shoulder. Homeboy would come right by me and ask me, what the F am I doing? And I jumped up, and she knew something was wrong, pulled me right back down. I said, let me go. She said, what? I said,
He was finna fight. He was
Yeah.
finna fight someone. I'm only one person, so he was about to get his kneecaps kicked out with no backup. But yeah, I was and here's the thing. This is what I tell people all the time is I'm hyper aware. And I think a lot of Black people can identify with this. I'm very hyper aware if I'm with someone of a different race when people are staring at me.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? There's just like a negative energy. And so, I don't want to say I was always, well, yeah, I expected, I guess that's a bad thing for me. I expected there to be issues. not only because of the fact that he's white, but the fact that he's 20 years older than me. And I struggled internally with with the fear that he would think that I was with him for
credit score.
Well, I'm with you for it. That's a given. Anyway.
He laughed way too hard.
I was afraid that for some reason he would wake up one day and be like, you're a gold digger and you're not,
Yes.
or that somebody in his family would think that, or that one of his friends would think like, would tell him like, you know why she's really with you, or why do you think, you know what I mean? I was always paranoid that people were, which they were, which they probably will always wonder why we are together. I mean, my mom often asked me, what do you see in him? Why are you guys together? And so
my mama won't, low key, my mama won't feel him in the beginning either. She was like, he's bad boy, you don't want him. And I was like, but I think I love him.
No, you know what's crazy is I did not he knew I loved him before I knew I loved him. And vice versa. It was weird. I knew he loved me before he ever said I love you. Quick story time. The first thing, I'll go with him. He knew that there was a connection when we were talking on Tinder, and then we did our first video call. And I remember that day, and so does he, because I was getting my associates at the time, and I had just pulled in the driveway when he called me. And I turned the camera on, and he always tells me he remembers my smile. And I had my book bag on. I was literally like a kid that got home from the first day of school. I ran into the front door, dropped my book bag, ran through my great room, down to the back deck. And I was like, hi. And he said he remembers seeing a blur of all the rooms that I sprinted through to get to the backyard. And so that was the first thing. And then what is the day he knew he was stuck, right? Go ahead and tell them what happened. And sidebar, one of the reasons why he really interested me on Tinder was I saw he had a boat. So I was like, oh, I'm about to talk to you because you have a boat. So what happened that day? He took me out on the water.
We went on for a boat ride, and she came up on the bridge and stood beside me, and I put my arm around her, and it was like a perfect fit. I knew then I was in trouble.
And I was like, you knew all that just from putting your arm around me? I was like, that was weird. Because I'm so logical. I'm not like, yeah. So that was his kind of epiphany. And one second. Ooh, sorry, my son just got home from an awards ceremony.
Okay.
Sidebar. It was his first play. And he got an award for, what is this for? Recognition, nominated for recognition from the Stallion Stage Company for outstanding achievement in the play Annie.
Congratulations.
All right.
He's walking away like, no more attention.
Which grade?
10th grade, right? Yeah, 10th grade.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's told me today he's striving to be a part of the thespian club. Yeah, thespian club.
Okay. I think I don't know how the chapters or how that works, but my niece Yanni just got inducted into the thespian. She's in Norview High School, and they just had the ceremony over there. Yeah, so I recently heard that same.
He's in Green Room. So
tell him if he's ever looking for an internship in the arts, there's opportunity.
Sorry. So this is completely derailed because now I'm in mom mode. He got a medal.
Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, you know I love that. That's my logo. That's the faces on my logo.
So I will connect you
Yes,
two. So
100%.
um,
Congratulations.
he said thank you. He whispered thank you. Let's see. So that was the day on the boat. When did you know what? I think honestly, it seriously hit me that all of my fears of being seen as a gold digger or anything like that was when he got COVID.
Okay.
And he tells people this also. I wasn't trying to prove loyalty or anything like that. And I was just myself. He was sick, and I'm not a very emotional person, and so I'd make him laugh. I'd still tell him to move over in the bed
Never left my side.
People, how people would say, with COVID, you
Yes.
have to isolate.
Quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, well, I don't even know where you caught it, when you caught it. So if I probably got it, so I'm not
Right.
sleeping nowhere
The
in the
exposure's
house.
there. Okay.
Exactly. So, and when he had to go to the hospital, he had to go to the emergency room. And I got him up, got him dressed, and we didn't call an ambulance. I was just like, just get in the car. I'm gonna drive you. And we laughed the whole time. So that's how I knew. I was like, no matter what anybody says, like, I'm staying with this guy.
Yeah.
And it being with him, not in a bad way, but it's forced me to mature a lot emotionally. And it's made me realize that when I was younger, looks were kind of everything for me, just as I think for most young people, they are. And I would ask myself the same thing: why am I with this guy? Like, why am I with this guy? I told him from the start, I was a shallow person. I have a weight limit. I want you to spend money on me. Is the dog? His son is crying, which is his
Okay.
dog. Um, but I was just like, I don't know. I keep asking why am I attracted to you? And it's really the fact that you are something that I've been looking for and asking for my entire life. I've always wanted my husband to. I've always held my grandfather as the standard, and he is the first man ever to live up to that standard. And I didn't know that when you know what I mean? It wasn't.
Yeah.
And then over time, I'm slow. So I've been telling God, like, I need you to be very like I'm oblivious. I need you to put it right in my face.
Yeah.
So yeah, over the years, I've just been connecting the dots. And so for me, it was um, it took a little longer for me to understand that I truly love him. This is exactly why I'm with him. And it's because I've always wanted someone to look up to and learn from. Because I'm usually the one in my life, I'm usually the one that people look up to and follow, but I had never had anyone that I deemed worthy enough, but I'd never found anyone that I wanted to follow or I guess submit to. And then this guy came along, and then he fed me. And
Yes. I didn't know what I needed until I got it. Come on.
Yes,
Come on.
yeah. So that's I know it's long-winded, but that's pretty much.
No, that's great. That's great. That's one thing that, like, one of the reasons we started Couples Conversations actually was supposed to be a one-time thing, just to kind of bring different couples together and just kind of talk about navigating life, right? And after that conversation, I had so much feedback. We had so much feedback. People said, no, keep this conversation going so we can have different couples on and different experiences, and, to just get different people's perspective of how they handle life and navigate. And actually, I think that was the next question we wanted to ask about how you all handle.
Yeah. Oh, money.
Yeah. Like, how do you all handle money? Is it a joint venture? Is it a mine, yours? Is it like with us, what's yours is mine, what's yours, mine is yours, but not everybody navigates like that. So
Mine is
how do y'all
mine,
handle
but it's hers.
What is mine, and what is his is mine.
that?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
I said
That's
what
pretty much how it goes.
What's so funny, y'all? I'm gonna tell y'all, we were literally in the store earlier today, and he was in the line, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get this one more thing or something, and I was giving him some cash. I said, well, you got cash on you? And he was like, yeah, I got cash. But I was like, well, why you taking the cash I got? He said, then the guy with had was like, well, you gonna take it all anyway.
He knows what it is.
I was like, well, if you know, you know.
Exactly. He knows what it is. Yeah, like when we first started, it's so weird. Finance, that's another area I've grown up in. And look, his face is red because in his mind he's like, I did that.
I love it.
Yeah. But I've always had, I will say this. I don't want to say I'm bad with money because that's present tense. I'm always working on getting, making better money habits, right? Creating better money habits. When I got with him, honestly, and I told him this, in my mind, I was just looking for a sugar daddy. That's really all I wanted. I just wanted somebody to take care of me. Like I said, it wasn't necessarily from I want to use someone. It was because in my life, I was sick and tired of being the breadwinner. I was sick and tired of being the most financially stable in the family. All of that. I was just sick and tired. And I wanted somebody to take care of me for once. And so at first, I don't want to say we were spending a lot of his money, but he's very traditional. And so he would take me to dinner. He would take me to get my nails done and stuff like that. But the way that I am is eventually I was like, all right, I'm going to take you out. Right. And so in reality, our money is entangled. We do for each other. Right. Like something simple as today I bought a bag of dog food. And he's going to go buy another bag of dogs. Like it was just, it's entangled. And the other thing is we help each other make more money.
Yes.
So even though we have separate bank accounts, he's helping me pay my debt down. And I help him with his business because I'm a consultant. I help him strategize on other ways to make money. He helps me manage my money with my business. And so really we have kind of like a pot system, if you will, even though it's different bank accounts. Whatever the other one needs, one of us makes sure that person gets it.
That's right.
And when we have extra money, we splurge on each other because we both work hard, play hard, right?
I love it.
So, and I acknowledge a lot of the times, not throwing his age in his face, but I do let him know you're older than me and I've seen your behaviors, your financial behaviors, and I would like for you to teach me. Like teach me how to,
That's good.
You know what I mean? Even though
yeah, absolutely.
I will buck.
I think more couples need to have that kind of transparency within them that like, listen, that's a strength of yours. Like we win if I follow you with that, right? Like my husband, I love him, but when it comes to like organizing and doing all that's not his judge, right? So he like, babe, like I got your coattail on that, right? If you need me, tag me in,
Right, yeah.
And I think, that's a great segue as well, because I wanted to ask you all when we talk about entrepreneurship and, that whole kite string thing and navigating, marriages and relationships as entrepreneurs and, business owner. My husband started his trucking company before and, with me with the production company and doing the shows and all that. But also we've had a bit of a transition because when the trucks and stuff, went down, he's been a major support system for like all the other things, like you said, helping me to grow the empire that I'm building. Like it couldn't happen without that backing, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that. Let's go into that a little bit in regards to like navigating that whole kite and string, marriage and entrepreneurship. How do you know when to put the hat down. Because that's one thing that I struggle with, honestly, just in transparency. Like, oftentimes he's like, babe, you got like you got to stop. You know what I mean? Like, you've been going since 4 this morning. Like, it's 10. Like, can you wait till tomorrow to send that email? But I'm like, I'm supposed to send it at 7. That's why I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to send that over. So let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
That works more on her side, because she'll be, up in the morning, take a roll to school at 8:30, and then don't stop, and 9:30, 10, 11 o'clock, still up sending emails. And I really get frustrated when she was working for Norfolk State, part-time job, and you put more time at home than you were at the center, and not making any money doing it. You're doing it because you're trying to do a better job. And then it just, at some point, you got to close this thing. You got to turn it off. You got to decompress. You have to.
I receive it, Frank. You're talking to me too, man. I'm telling you, I'm receiving what you're saying.
You have to relax. I work a full-time job. I work Monday through Friday. The weekends we're at the racetrack. Half the time we go by my brother's race shop. We go there, so that gives us a different venue. That's something we started doing this year. I usually decompress and dewind and slow down a little easier, maybe because I'm a little older than she is, but I have to tell her, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I think what it is, I have these goals, and I will hit my goals, whether it's a little before or a little after, my target date. And I know, and I always say this, I would rather work hard right now and relax later. Yeah. Granted, I know that I have to take care of myself. And so, and he gave me, last year, I was just working to death. I would get up at about 6:30 in the morning, and I'd close my laptop at about 1 a.m. the next morning. I'd take my laptop to bed and be working. That's partly because I want so badly to be successful. And I am amazed at myself, because I've never worked this hard for any other job in my life.
That's right.
And so I'm always looking, and I do it for my kids. I tell, there's an exercise. I know you weren't one of my clients, but there's an exercise that I have all of my clients do. First session, I want you to do a 5 whys exercise. And I ask you, the initial question is, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And a lot of people say, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to make more money. I want to have my own hours. I want to have freedom over my life and over my time. And I tell people that is a very surface level answer. That is not why you want to be an entrepreneur. For me, when I first did that exercise, I found out that I want to be an entrepreneur because when I was in the military, I was always on deployment. And my son lived with my mom. Essentially, I lost about 5-6 years of my son's life. And so when I was out to sea, what I would do is I would go to online. I would go to Build-A-Bear, because he loved teddy bears, and I would create a teddy bear and have it shipped to him. But I would always wonder, where is that money? What bill can I take that money from? And so my goal as an entrepreneur was, and still is, I want to be able to cancel all my meetings one day and take my kids. I want to have the ability to cancel all my meetings, take my kids to Build-A-Bear, and not worry about what bill that money is coming from. That is the type of freedom that I want. Whether you want to call it financial, emotional, whatever, that is the type of freedom that I want. I want freedom from worry that I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To just
100%
with my children. And so I don't want to say I was using that as an excuse, but I had that on my brain so much that I was willing to sacrifice my health in order to make that happen. And so he had to tell me, like, all right, I don't want you to get out of your shop by 8 p.m. And I think I wasn't allowed to do any work in bed, but I was allowed to play video games to a certain extent. because and it was a process. It wasn't close your laptop cold turkey. It was
Yes.
stop working, do something you actually like to do, which is play video games. And now it's I try to play video games, but now I want to read and I want to talk to him more. So it's been a process.
You gotta have self-care.
Yeah, and I didn't care at all about.
You gotta have self-care.
Yeah, I didn't care at all. So in terms of entrepreneurship, the only other thing that I'll add is it is hard when you work with your spouse as an entrepreneur. And he is the money guy. I asked him to, I mean, I have a bookkeeper in my business already, but I asked him to be kind of a financial officer, if you will, CFO of my company, because I want to be successful so much, but I know myself and I know how I am with money. And I need someone that has a strong personality to tell me how it is and how it will go when it comes to the financial health of my company. And he does that. It's very hard with my personality to keep my mouth shut when he has to put his foot down, because I have to understand that it's not personal. It's
big picture.
It's a big picture.
It's big picture. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something that I'm constantly have to work on, is understanding that it's not a personal dig. It's a very big picture view. Like, he sees what could happen, what is happening, and I'm just like, oh my God, I need this right now. I need to pay for it. So so yeah, it's hard.
There's so many similarities online tonight that is resonating with me, Tiffany.
But on the other hand, she keeps after me about my health. She pushes me to be better.
Yeah.
She questions me all the time. We just had an in-depth conversation last night about.
What did we talk about, sir?
Uh-huh.
He opened this door. He opened this door. Remember that.
It was a smirk that came with like slowly, like
African American history, and where she come from, and her place and thoughts on how her culture, and knowing her culture and having the respect to, as a Caucasian man coming into her culture, such as how to do Aurora's hair. She says, if I'm not here, how you gonna do her hair? That's why I told you she can't do her hair. I cut it off.
But then look. So then I explained to him, I said, you think you're funny, but you need to understand, what did you tell me about my hair all the time when we first met?
Your hair is your crown.
My hair is my crown. And so I said, imagine what that sounds like when you tell a little Black girl to cut her hair off, when you know that our hair is our crown.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so it's just like, having conversations like that. And I know a lot of the times he's a very non-confrontational person. It's not confrontational, but I think sometimes it kind of, especially with the way that I speak, I'm learning how to be as honest as I can with myself and whoever I'm speaking to. And however that person, and I try to be as respectful as I can when I'm speaking, but I cannot worry about how you are going to receive the information that is coming from my heart. You know what I mean? And so I just let him know. I was just like, I just want you to understand what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? It's more than just loving me. It's understanding who I am, understanding where I come from, helping me understand where I come from. And just big picture. You do big picture with finances. I'm a big picture person when it comes to culture and identity. And so, I used to not be so wishy-washy and so emotional. This is just, but I tell him, like, this is how much I love this man. I can't have him close enough to my spirit. If I could get our souls closer than entwined, than I would. That's just how much I want to be with this guy. Right. So
Yeah.
that's why it was very hard for me to have that conversation with him last night. Don't ask me why, but I did it in spite of the fear that I had. And I tell him all the time, like, it's so weird, but even though I'm afraid, you really make it a little easier for me to have the necessary conversations that I should.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to what you just said about how you feel about him. There's so much wanting to have that, that oneness, right? Togetherness, that we're willing to get through the difficulties of that, because what's on the other side of that is the beauty, right? So I totally get it.
Yep.
That's such a beautiful thing. I love it. Okay, so we'll end on this last question. What advice would you give to couples? Let's say, and actually that could be anything when it comes to meeting online. It could be if they, if they're thinking about possibly considering someone, or dating someone or what have you, that has a different age difference. What advice would you give to another couple who may be considering? Because again, we have different people from different age, length, demographics, all that watch and tune in. So what advice would you give? And you too, Frank.
And also follow up on that question. Was it anybody in y'all lives that y'all had to cut off because they disagreed with y'all relationship? Or anybody y'all stopped talking to?
I lost an 18-year friendship over her.
Okay.
Quite honestly, the boat that I was running at the time belonged to him, and almost 18 years at the time. And when she started coming on the boat and going with us fishing, because there's matching tattoos right there going for
it. I
see it. I've been a fisherman all my life, and I had a bucket list, and one of them was a swordfish. And the very first time I went, within 5 minutes, I caught one. She was with me. Wow. And when I pulled the thing over the back of the boat, I turned around and said, "Where'd Tiffany go?" She's in the cabin.
Hey, look, I have nothing to talk to that fish about. Okay, I don't know that person. That's none of my business. I took a picture and I went back to where I was supposed to be.
So his whole demeanor changed, and I flat called him out on it. Is it because she's black? Is it because what's the problem? There ain't no problem. I don't hear from you no more. You don't call me no more. And I finally pulled my stuff off the boat, my gear. I stepped off that boat. I walked away from that, and I have not been back since.
Yeah. Because
if you're truly my friend, truly, you'll be happy for me that I'm happy.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
To be gay or black woman, white woman, young girl, old girl, whatever, or if I decide just to be single the rest of my life, whatever. If you're truly my friend, you support me.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so
I feel like if anybody's around you all, the two of you, long enough, you see it all and through y'all. Like I've had an opportunity again, I've shared with the audience to be around you all once or twice. No, twice for sure. Might have been 3 times actually, but I know for sure twice. And like you see it on y'all, like, oh, that's so cute. Like,
So yeah, I walked away from it. Another thing is her mother. Her mother is from my generation in age. So when she first met me, she couldn't stand me.
It was because it was something he said. That's why. And so it was both of our faults because it was something he said, but then my big mouth told my mom. So it was both of our faults. But yeah, go ahead.
But she has come to be more accepting. And actually come to the room, we play Uno and have drinks or go somewhere and we go out shooting pool or whatever. And she actually conversates, and the whole relationship has changed because she even asked, he's just got a black girl fetish. That's all. He'll be moving on soon, that kind of thing. It's not true. Yeah. So it's come from both sides. But yeah, I lost what I thought was a good friendship, but turned out it wasn't big.
Okay.
But another twist of the plot, I have children as old as her.
His children are older than me by a couple of years.
So when I first told my daughter, who was living in my house at the time, and introduced to Tiffany, she had more questions for Tiffany than I did. I said, "You over here to see me, or you gonna hang out with her?" But my kids, even to my son and my daughter both, Dad, are you happy? That's all we want.
That's beautiful.
That's the main thing.
Being supported 100%. Now we've been hanging around my brother, my nephews, my sister, because they're all part of the race team. So we've been pretty much all spring there. We go over to the shop a couple nights a week. Like tomorrow, we'll leave here at 10 in the morning. We won't get home until 10, 11 o'clock. We'll spend 12 hours together. And my nephews played sports for me when I was coaching, and she's heard the stories. But now she looked at me just weeks ago and she says, "You're so happy." She said, "I can tell you really enjoy being around them." And they picked right back up. My nephew the other night was at the house, and I went to leave. Last thing he said to me, he said, "I love you." So they're supportive. They part of the team. They actually, there's a guy named Jeremy. He's a black guy. He's on the team. My brother's known him for years, and them two go at it left and right, like two brothers. I get a kick out of it.
Brother from another mother.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So, and really, Jeremy, when he first come around, he was a little timid. I think he was trying to figure it out. He's known me longer than he has her. Then we all went, after the race, one even went to dinner. And we sat there and found out that his daughter did jiu-jitsu, or does karate. He's a gamer. Tiffany's a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
Gamer. So that conversation started taking across the table, and it's grown from there. So back to your real question is communication.
Yes.
Now it depends, because everyone that he just talked about is older. I mean, I haven't cut him off, but there's been only one person in my family that has had an extremely difficult time with this, and that's my son. Okay. And he's 16. When I tell you the phrase that he would, when we first literally up until maybe the last couple months, the phrase that he would say a lot is, he wouldn't care if he found Frank dead in a ditch somewhere.
Oh.
literally, he was just, and I don't think that these are excuses. They are reasons. His dad, my first husband, was very abusive. Only has seen him twice in his life. He, like I said, I lost pretty much 4 to 6 years with my son because I was out to sea all the time. And a little kid, I mean, you can't tell a little kid to understand why their parent is gone.
It's so complex. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, after that, for the longest, it was just my son and I. And then I met his first stepdad, who is still, I mean, that's his dad. And so now he's 16 and he's like, this, old white guy is coming into the picture who is more of a disciplinarian than his stepdad. And so it's a difficult time. He's growing up. He's in high school. He's thinking about college and the military.
They're navigating all of that natural stuff, exactly. Maturity, hormones, life, all that.
Yep. And then now this guy who's like, you need to wash the dishes. You need to cut the grass. You need to pick up after the dog. Exactly.
Clean the room.
And so it's, So, and it's been difficult for him and my son and I, because I'm so used to, I'll just allude real quick back to the last question of entrepreneurship. I worked so much that, and I tell all my clients, when I first started as an entrepreneur, I neglected everyone. When the kids would knock on my shop door, I'd tell them, go away. I'm in a meeting, or I'm working or whatever. And so, now it's to the point where when I told my son that we were getting married, I said, would you like to come to the wedding? He was like, absolutely not. And that was about 3 weeks ago. And last week, I was, because that really broke my heart. And, but there's no way that I would ever try to force him to, go against the way that he feels. And so I said, hey, can you do me a favor while the wedding party is at the ceremony? Can you just heat up the food, so that it's warm when we come back? He was like, well, where are you guys going to be? I said, at the ceremony. He was like, well, I thought I was going with you. I said, I thought you didn't want to. And he was like, well, I thought you wanted me to walk you down the aisle. And I said, do you want to walk me down the aisle? He was like, yes.
Yeah. He had to play tough.
Process.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I will say it's easier, whatever the difference is, age, race, whatever the difference is, it may be easier for you to cut other people off versus work things out with that person. Because part of it, just like I just had to accept, I had to constantly remind myself, I can tell my kids, don't do this, don't eat this, don't do this. But when it comes to something like this, I have to accept the consequences. I made this choice. I am making this choice, and I have to accept how others feel. I can't, that's not my place to say you have to like this person or you're wrong. And so I think that when people are in non-traditional, I'll just put non-traditional relationships, they have to understand that there may be some consequences, and weigh whether you're ready and willing to accept those consequences, or not. And so that would be the advice that I would have, regardless if you're dating or not, because Frank knows I've always been very, very, for lack of a better word, frank with him, honest. And we've always had these conversations over the last 4 years. What if we get pregnant? What's going to happen? What if, you hurt yourself? What's going to happen? I had to contend with the fact that he's 20 years older than me. If he gets sick, am I willing to take care of him? If he becomes bedridden, you know what I mean? Like, what are you willing to do as a consequence of that relationship? And if you can constantly have those, not one time, constantly have those serious conversations, have an agreement, have a plan, because here's my logical brain coming in, and understand how that's going to affect you and the people around you, because it will affect the people around you. If you're willing to accept that, then you're in a good place. If not, that doesn't mean that you've failed or that you're a bad person. That's just something that you're not able to handle.
Yeah.
And it's better that everybody knows that from jump than 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Yeah. And I think even like Frank was saying before, with unfortunately the ending of that friendship after such a long time, right? After 18 years, but there are things that you learned in that relationship throughout that time. And then sometimes, like you said, we have relationships that sometimes we'll hold on to for longer than maybe we should, right? And then that causes us some undue stuff that we maybe didn't have to go through, that we might have been able to avoid. That's with any type of relationships, friendships, marriages, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's great advice. And that communication thing is always a major, and I love the way y'all are open and have that open communication and dialogue constantly, because that, like I said, that's one of the biggest things that we say. People like, man, y'all always have to. I'm like, yeah, he get on my nerves too. And I get on his nerves. I mean, you do.
Yes, you get on my nerves.
We get on each other's nerves, but when you're willing to get on each other's nerves and still show up the next day, right? They still, all right. I wouldn't want nobody to get on my nerves like you do.
Hey, look,
anybody else but you, boo.
You know how many times I hang up on this man, and this is how much I've grown. When we first got together, I would hang up on him, not think twice about about my moral compass. Now, I wait a couple of more milliseconds before I hang up on him. I still do hang up on him. But then I sit there and I think, what did he do that pissed me off so much that made me want to hang up on him? And he's got me thinking this thing. This is the closer, right? This last thing. He always, and you learned this from your first marriage, never go to bed.
Learned from my parents. I had a good household, but same thing with my wife. God rest her soul, my first wife. Don't go to bed mad.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we got.
Don't go to bed
yes.
Mad. Trust me, I would try. I'd be like, hold on. I'd be like, hold on. That stuff that we did yesterday, just because we went to sleep, don't mean that I'm not still thinking about it the next morning. Okay.
Yeah, we've been a big advocate of that for a very long time as well. And I can't remember who told us. I think it was his mom that might have said it, Mama Loretta, and she was like, because we've been together since high school, so we've been doing this thing, for a little minute. But that was one of the biggest things, and it really resonated with us. So, like, not to say that we don't have moments where back then, especially not so much now, but of course, but like back then, we were younger, and you go back and forth or whatever, But there was times where there was those times where it was like, I'm gonna take a break, but we're gonna finish this before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because if you or I don't wake up, I don't want that to be the last thing. I'm not finna let that be it. So I love that.
Yeah. And the other thing is I got her that I pushed on was, if I've done something today, tell me about it today.
I hope that happens.
Don't come back to me 3-4 days from now and tell me that I left the toilet seat up and then put the cap back on the toothpaste, because I ain't gonna remember that.
There you go. That's good, Frank.
It ain't gonna mean two shits to me at this point.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
You know what I mean? So whatever it is, say your piece, get it over with.
Yeah.
Shake hands, be done, kiss, make up, and go on.
And that way, stuff don't pile up, build up, and build up.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, God, just
over the smallest little thing.
You get you a drink.
I love it. Well, again, thank y'all so much. We done had a good time. I done laughed. And look, I take 2 notes. I'm taking. Frank told me, turn that computer off. Balance. Put your harmony together. I received that, Frank. And in the moment, let me what it know. No, don't wait. Don't let it pile up.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Keep that communication going. But again, thank y'all for joining us tonight for Couples Conversation. Y'all are welcome to join us anytime. We're gonna start
now we know we should be drinking.
Huh?
Now we know we should be drinking, so we'll be ready for next time.
I'm gonna make sure I send it in the email next time, right?
Yes.
Bring your cup if you want.
Thank you.
Shout out, I told you we would make us a little signature, a cocktail or something we can have on here. But again, thank y'all again, Tiffany and Frank, for joining us tonight for Couples Conversations. We had a great time with you all. Have an amazing rest of your night.
Peace.
You too. Bye.
Bye.